If you're a business that's targeting a specific type of high-value customer and you want to get more clients through Facebook and Instagram, then this video is going to be for you. So we see a lot of these businesses, they have an inconsistent lead flow, or they are already booked out, but they don't have enough high margin projects. And they want to get more high margin projects and ICP customers into their pipeline. And they don't know how to target these people on Facebook and Instagram. In this video, I'm not guaranteeing results. I'm just showing what works best in my experience. So if we want to target these type of customers, this is going to be the first thing that we will need to look at. So the goal is going to be to identify, qualify, and reach these high value audiences. So first of all, you got to define what a high value customer actually means to you. What kind of projects do you want? What kind of ideal clients do you want to look for? And how do they behave? You got to know their exact pain points and how they behave. Because if we don't do that, we're going to target too broad and you're not going to know what type of person that you want to target. Before you start, you got to know exactly who you want to reach. Because if you're just going to say, I want high value customers, yeah, that doesn't say nothing. You got to know exactly which type of customer you want to reach. And you're going to do that by defining the exact persona of the person that you want to reach. Because if you can define their exact persona, you know exactly what creatives and pain points you need to make and use to speak to that exact customer. So you know the exact problems that they're currently facing, and you're also providing them with the exact solutions. So they feel like you're directly speaking to them. These are just some examples. So if you want to reach high net worth people, you got to know exactly what range of incomes these people are in. And also the intent is very important. You got to know what intent they have. So for example, I want to reach people that want to start a project with me in the next 6 months. If you don't know the intent, you're going to reach the wrong type of people. And you also got to make sure that you know the exact decision makers in those industries. So for example, if you want to reach finance executives, you got to make sure that you know their exact problems and how to speak to them. What exact solutions are these type of customers looking for? And this is the same with all the other examples that I wrote here. Architects, real estate investors, business owners with a high long-term value potential. You really got to know their exact problems, their pain points, and their solutions before you even start making your ads or start doing anything. And if you say, yeah, we want to reach interests in luxury brands, that's not equal to wealth. You got to have exact customer personas. So before you start, make sure that you have these customer personas in place, and then you can start making your creatives, start making your script, start identifying the exact pain points that this type of customer is feeling and what solutions you have to offer to them. Make sure that your customer persona is very specific, so don't make it too broad. If you say, I want to reach people that are interested in luxury brands, if you're going to do that, you're not going to see success with your ads, because people that are interested in luxury brands, that's not equal to wealth. There are a lot of people that are interested in luxury brand, but that doesn't mean they're actually going to buy. So you got to make sure that you have specific customer personas. If you're not going to do that, you're going to have broad lookalikes. And if you have broad lookalikes without qualifications, you're going to waste your ad budget, and you don't want to do that. So after the identification process of your exact customer persona, we're going over to the qualification process. This is a very important part of the process because this is where you're going to qualify the person that is clicking on your ad. There are still going to be a lot of unqualified leads that are going to click on your ad, but you don't want them to come through. So this is where you're going to filter them out so they don't come in as an actual lead. You only want the right people coming in, because Meta will optimize on the leads that come in through your ad. And if you only make sure that the high quality leads come in, your campaign is going to optimize on that. So we're going to do this by building the meta structures and optimizing for conversion signals. So we're going to make sure that Meta sends all the information from your CRM back to Meta so they know which type of customer is a high intent lead and which one is a low quality lead. And we're going to focus on the high margin projects by asking their budget and their timeline. So first of all, we're going to look at behavioral filters. We're going to look at people who engaged with your premium content. And it's going to be really important because with the new Andromeda update, everything has changed. Back in the days when you wanted to reach a very specific type of audience, you could do this by adding interests. But now the targeting is already done within your creative. So Meta is going to look at your copy, it's going to look at your creatives, and then it's going to show that to the most relevant audience. So your interests are not even that important anymore. Your creative is going to be one of the most important things of your ad, and you're also going to have to test a lot of creatives and pain points and hooks and different perspectives in your ads if you want to have success with this. And your ad itself, so your creative, your video, is already going to pre-qualify most of your audience. So you want to make sure that your ad is already pre-qualifying people, so you don't have people clicking that are not really your ideal target audience. And you can do this by making sure that your script and ad only attracts the right type of leads. Meta is going to look at the people that click on your ad or the people that looked at your ad for a longer time. So you want to make sure that your ideal customer is clicking on your ad or watching your ad for a longer time. So you need to make sure that your ad is actually speaking to them and it actually is relevant to them. If it's relevant to your ideal customer persona, they're going to click on your ad or they're going to watch longer, and Meta's going to find more people like that. So that's why I'm saying that your pre-qualification is already done within your creative, and that's why it's so important to make sure that you know your exact type of customer and you know what problems they have and what solutions you can bring to them. Another strategy that we also use for our clients is that we send people that have already filled out our form to another qualification page, an external qualification page on our website. And on that page, we're going to ask more questions to further qualify them. And this is a very good strategy because you're going to send these people to an external form, and then when they fill out the extra qualification form, it's going to send that information back to the Meta systems, and Meta will know, okay, we need to find more people like that. So your campaign will learn faster. So the next step is going to be really important. That's going to be the data enrichment step. In this step, we're going to give data to the Meta system so they can find our ideal customer persona faster. And because the audience that we're targeting is so specific and high value, this is going to be one of the most important steps that we're going to do. And the best tool that we can use to reach these specific customer personas are lookalike audiences. So with lookalike audiences, you can basically target people that look exactly like your customers or like your ideal customer profiles. So basically you can make different lookalike audiences based on different criteria. So first of all, we have custom audiences and we have lookalike audiences. You can make a custom audience of your followers. You can make a custom audience of people that watch your videos longer than 20 seconds. In our case, the best thing to do is going to be to create a lookalike audience of a custom audience of a customer list. So you can upload a customer list into Meta. So for example, you upload a customer list of 100 customers that look exactly like the type of customer that you want to reach with these ads. And then Meta is going to anonymize and hash that information. And you can choose, for example, I want to reach the top 1% of people that look exactly like that custom audience. And then Meta is going to show your ad to people that look exactly like that. So it's going to be really important that when you upload this list, that these people are actually relevant to the type of exact persona that you want to reach. And also, the more volume you have, the better. So ideally, when you upload a customer list, you want to have between 100 to 1,000 people in there. If you're going to have less than 100 people in your customer list, it's not going to be that effective. So the more volume you have in your customer list, the better. But like I said earlier, you got to make sure that the people that are in your customer list look exactly like the type of customer persona that you want to reach, because otherwise Meta is not going to have the right information. And another very strong tool is that you can add value-based lookalike audiences. So when you upload your customer list, you can add values to your customer list. So for example, this is the value of this client, this was the value of this client. And then when you make a lookalike audience of that customer list, it's going to find people that have the same values, which is a really strong tool if you want to find high net worth people or people that are going to do bigger deals with you. So that's why value-based lookalike audiences are something that I would really strongly recommend when you're doing these type of ads. And obviously, if you have lookalike audiences, you can also make exclusion lists. So let's say you have a list of people that you absolutely want to avoid. You have a list of low quality leads, or you have a list of low value users or customers that you've worked with in the past. You can put them in a list and you can exclude them from your campaign. You can make lookalike audiences of those type of customers, and then Meta is going to avoid them. So now we have two important things in place. First of all, Meta knows exactly what type of people they need to reach. And second of all, they also know which type of people they need to avoid. So this is already very strong, and it's only going to work in our favor because we're targeting this very specific persona. And the more data you give back to Facebook, the faster your campaigns will find the right audience. So make sure that you have these two things in place. And there are signals that matter to see if your lookalike audience is actually working. Like you can look at the time that they have spent on the external qualification form and how many people have actually completed the extra qualification form. And if you have that information, you can see, okay, are we getting that exact type of customer that we're looking for? If your ratio is more than 50%, so let's say that more than 50% of the people that fill out that extra qualification form are your ideal exact customer that you're trying to reach, then you're doing good. So that means that your lookalike audiences are actually working. So now we are moving forward to the last stage, which is reaching high value audiences. And we are going to do this by setting up a delivery strategy. We're going to filter people by behavior and intent, and we're going to create scalable segments. And this is how we're going to do it. So our goal here is going to be simple. We're going to make sure that we have the right setup in our meta ads targeting to reach those specific type of customers. And the first thing that we are going to look at is our interest architecture. Like I said earlier, we recently had the Andromeda update with Meta, and your creatives are already doing most of the targeting. But because we are trying to reach such specific personas, our creatives are not going to be enough for the targeting. We are going to need to use some interests. The goal here is not to use too many interests, but it's to make sure that they're set up correctly. So when you're on Meta Ads Manager, you're going to see that there are different ways to target people based on their interest. And you're going to make sure that you only target decision makers. So for example, if you want to reach construction owners, you're not going to take people that are interested in construction, but you're going to reach people that are employers. And you can actually choose people that are employers only. This way, you'll only reach the people that are relevant to you. So you're only reaching the decision makers. Because if you're only going to target people that are, for example, interested in construction, you're going to reach a lot of people that are not your customer persona. You only want to have the decision makers. So you're going to make sure that you only target employers. And we're going to look at the high value behaviors, and we're going to exclude the low value or mass market interests, because you only want to talk to the decision makers, because those are the ones that are going to convert. For the lookalike audiences, I would strongly suggest you to use a 1% lookalike audience. For the lookalike audiences, I would strongly suggest you to choose a lookalike audience between 1 or 3%. So that means you want to target the top 1 or 3% of people that look exactly like your customer list. If you go anywhere further than that, you'll probably not get people that look exactly like your customer persona. State that your customer lists actually align with the type of people that you want to reach. So that's very important. You can also make lookalike audiences based on the lead qualities. So you can make a list with the highest quality leads, you can make a list with the lower quality leads, and you can also make a lookalike audience of the high intent website traffic. So people that have shown high intent on your website, you can make a lookalike audience to target people that look like that. Like I said, stay between 1 to 3% if you want to reach the people that align the most with your customer persona. And also make customer lists of your non-qualified leads and low value customer, so Meta knows, okay, we need to avoid and exclude these type of prospects. And next up, we have our creative triggers. This is probably going to be the most important thing of your whole campaign. And I would strongly suggest you to focus on video marketing, because people can see your face. You can directly hook them in. You can show them the pain points that they're currently facing and the solutions. And it just builds immense trust, because it feels like they are directly talking to you face to face. Your video creatives should already do a huge part of the qualification process. So make sure that your videos are only relevant to your ideal customer profile. And that way you will avoid the wrong people clicking on your ad, because it's not relevant to them. Your ad should be relevant only to the type of customer that you're trying to reach. And if you do this, it will already filter out a lot of the unqualified leads. Because of the recent Meta Andromeda update, you're gonna have to test a lot of different ads to see what works. So the goal here is to test a lot of different hooks, a lot of different pain points to see what is actually working the best. And Meta will then show your ad to the most relevant type of prospects. Proof of expertise is a must when you make this creative. So you ideally show 1 to 2 cases that are most relevant to the type of customer that you're trying to reach. Your ad should have low friction entry points. So for example, at the end of your ad creative, you're gonna say something like, click below to get a free quote, or click below and we will contact you with some help. But it's really going to be important to do that, because you want to guide people to the next step. And the easier you make it for them, the more people you're going to get. And this doesn't mean that your qualification will be less, because all the people that are not qualified, they will be filtered out via the form. But if you want your ideal customer persona to inquire, you got to make it as easy as possible for them. So the last part of this process is going to be the testing structure. And my suggestion is to start with 3 ad sets. You're going to test 1 ad set with interests, you're going to test 1 ad set with lookalike audiences, and you're going to test 1 ad set with qualified warm audiences. And per ad set, you're going to test 5 creatives. But ideally, I would suggest testing between 10 to 20. But most business owners, they do not have the time or resources to test between 10 to 20 ads all at once. So you can just start with 5 creatives. But you got to make sure that every creative is very unique. So every creative has a different hook, a different pain point, and a different perspective. Because that way, you're going to find a winner ad way faster, because you're testing these different perspectives. I would suggest starting with a minimum daily ad spend budget between $50 to $100 a day. But it really depends on the industry that you're in. Some very, very specific industries, they require a higher ad spend per day. But for example, even some other industries, they don't even need an ad spend budget of $100 a day to start with. But it really depends on what industry you're in. And I would just suggest starting between $50 to $100 a day. That's my suggestion. And a mistake that I see a lot of business owners make is that they turn off their ads too soon. You have to understand that Meta has a learning phase, and a learning phase can take up to a week, 2 weeks, a month, or even a little bit longer. It really depends on how much data you gave to Meta and how fast they find your ideal customer profile. But you gotta give it time. A lot of people, they turn their ads off after 1 week, but that's not the right way to do it. You need to wait at least 1 week before results start to come in, or before you even see some data that you can evaluate on. I would suggest to keep your ads on for at least 1 month, and after 2 weeks you can look at the performance and see if you need to adjust something. But in my experience, I would just keep my hands off the campaign for 2 weeks, and then after 2 weeks you can do some minor changes. And then 2 weeks after that you can re-evaluate and see if it's working or not. Another mistake that I see a lot of business owners make is that they're focusing on the cost and not the quality. They're looking at the cost per lead, but that's not important. You need to look at the cost per acquisition. You need to look at the intent and quality of your leads. So if you're, for example, only getting 20 leads a month, but you're booking a meeting with 70% of those leads, and 60% of those leads is an ICP client, then your ads are doing their job because you're getting quality people. You could get 100 leads a month and 80% of them could be unqualified. That's not what you want. You want to focus on quality. So make sure that you constantly evaluate and optimize your lead quality. That's going to be an important KPI. But now the most important question: how do I determine if my ad or my campaign is actually working or not? Well, your most important KPI is going to be your cost per acquisition. So for example, let's just say that you've spent $1,000 in ad spend, and from that $1,000 in ad spend, you've gotten 20 leads. And from those 20 leads, you closed 2 people for 25K each. That means you have 50K in revenue. That means that you have a return on investment of X50. That means your ad is very profitable because you have an X50 return on investment. But you also have to look at your margins. Let's say your profit margin is 50%. That means that your ad is actually working very well. So after some time, you should look at it like this. If the ad or campaign is costing you money, it's not working. But if it is making you profit and you have a positive return on investment and a positive return on ad spend, you should keep it on. So now you have a profitable acquisition system that is consistently generating you inquiries from ideal customers. Thanks for watching this video. I hope this video helped to reach more specific and high value prospects to Instagram and Facebook ads. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, click below, like this video and subscribe on my channel, and I'll see you on the next one.